Hello everyone, my name is Dharmender Pasi and welcome to the another episode of Analytic Insight podcast where we talk to technology leaders about their journeys and what they have learned along the way. In today's podcast, our guest is Ashley Kramer. She is Chief Product and Marketing Officer at Sisense. Sisense is one of the leading business analytics software company in the world and it has received various accolades and recognitions from Gartner, Forrester, as well as Forbes. Here I welcome Ashley Kramer. Hey Ashley, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me today.
Well, Ashley, I'm really excited to have you on the podcast, and our readers would be very interested to hear about the company and how it is building interesting solution to serve data analytics professionals. To begin with, tell us about your journey at Sisense as a Chief Product and Marketing Officer.
Sure. Sounds great. So my journey in the professional world began as an engineer. So I was an engineer at NASA, at Oracle, and then I pivoted to more of the product and marketing world with Amazon in the early Kindle days. And so less relevant to my experience today, but what I learned from working at Amazon is everything that happens there is around two things, being data-driven and customer obsession, which aligns with my personal values. And so from my days at Amazon, I started with Tableau software, and I was responsible for building out their cloud strategy and maintaining their cloud business in my time there. And lots of great lessons early on in early analytics. I then took a role to run product at Alteryx, which is a data science and analytics platform. So now not just the visualization layer, but also the modeling that drives what happens next. So descriptive analytics will give you a chart and tell you what's happening now. Predictive and prescriptive tells you what's next and what to do about it. The reason I find myself at Sisense is it is a mix of all of those experiences I've had. So Sisense is a cloud analytics solution that really helps people go beyond the dashboard. And we can talk more about what that means. And as you mentioned, I run product and marketing here because I believe in modern businesses and modern technology, the partnership between what is being built and how it's being messaged to the world is just as important as marketing and sales and product and engineering being partners.
Great. That's an interesting journey, Ashley, working with world's biggest technology companies, which many engineers and data professionals strive for. Moving ahead, please share us how is Sisense offer unique solutions and how it is different from its competitor in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a very strong point of view of this because of my extensive history in the analytics market. So what Sisense is doing, we are, of course, very good at standard BI, but what we're doing is going beyond that. So going beyond the dashboard. And what does that mean? It's something that we like to call infusing intelligence everywhere. So going beyond the dashboard to really drive actionable intelligence to people when and where they need them. And so this is very important to me because over my years in the industry, I've noticed that no matter what solution different vendors have tried, there's still a lack of adoption. There's still people having trouble implementing the solution all the way through having end users actually use it to drive change. And so I believe with the Sisense model, how we're architected and how we are planning our future, we can actually break down the barriers to adoption and solve this challenge for companies all over the world.
Great. That's quite interesting to know how Sisense helps data science people simplifying complex data and transform it into a powerful analytics insight, and this surely make it stand out in the competition. Well, according to you, what makes Sisense innovative and what are the key partnerships it has done to drive that innovations?
Yeah, I think the way that the technology, meaning the Sisense technology, evolved really evolved with the way the market was changing. So I can't take any credit for this because I've only been here for 10 months, but everybody from the founders and the leaders from there really watched market trends and really evolved the technology. And I can break that down into three core areas. The first is we have a really powerful in-memory engine that dates all the way back to right around, the 2010 through 2014 range. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason they did that was it was really hard to extract data to make insights. And so we built this powerful in-memory engine. Then about 2 years ago, we noticed that the market was starting to shift to very powerful cloud data warehouses. So we also included the ability to put Sisense on top of those and
Mm-hmm.
run seamlessly on top of those. So now we have a completely hybrid data model, which is great. So that's the first point. The
Mm-hmm.
second point was we noticed, of course, as everybody else did, things were moving to the cloud, data application services.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike a lot of other vendors in the market, Sisense took a big, bold decision to say, let's not just take our Windows server and lift and shift it to the cloud. Let's actually do the right thing and rebuild it. So we have a Linux microservices-based architecture, which means we have endless scale. We have the ability to endlessly scale with customer needs because our core architecture was staying ahead of the curve. And then finally, when I said earlier people aren't adopting, our thesis around that is because people have unnaturally assumed that people in analytics, people working with data will stop what they're doing, go
Mm-hmm.
look for and find a dashboard, and then come back. They're not going to do that. That's been proven over and over again. So what we have as part of our architecture is what we call highly customizable and flexible. We have an API everywhere, whether that's on the back end to tap into your own security, all
Mm-hmm.
the way to the front end to bring in your own visualization if you want to use something to specialize the end user experience. And so from those 3 points, we've always evolved to not only keep up with, but get ahead of the market to really
Mm-hmm.
drive toward this Infusion future. You mentioned partnerships, and so that's a big piece of the Sisense story as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sisense is agnostic. We are close partners with Snowflake, with Amazon, with Microsoft, with Google, all partners out there. We don't care where customers' data is. We work cross-cloud.
Mm-hmm.
We work with on-prem and cloud. And I think that is a core differentiator of Sisense in the market today as well.
Great. That sounds amazing. And it surely make it one of the most innovative companies globally in big data analytics. Moving ahead, I would like to know how Sisense is contributing to the artificial intelligence, big data analytics, business intelligence industry of the nation and how it is helping clients today.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're seeing the trend when it comes to data that people are collecting more and more and wanting to extract insights. They're trying different ways from big data solutions like Spark or your Databricks approach all the way through cloud data warehouses. And again, where Sisense plays there is we don't care where your data is. We
Mhm.
want to make sure that you can leverage and extract value, and we can work well with your data where it is today, and also as you evolve and maybe move it to different places. When it comes to business intelligence and AI as part of that,
Mhm.
we see a different flavor of AI being powerful than some other players in the market. We believe the value of AI, of course, it's nice to have front end features. It's nice to be able to automatically have a trend line or do forecasting. And of course, we do that. So does everybody else. But where we really see value in AI is actually the engine that
Mhm.
drives the analytics, that drives that infusion. And so I like to think of it as the Netflix model. If you think about Netflix, the day you sign up based on your profile, it already has recommendations to give you. And then, of course, as you start watching things, it refines it, starts sending you suggestions, starts prompting you to do other things with video content.
Mhm.
Sisense is trying to achieve that same thing with something that we call a knowledge graph. We've collected usage patterns of how our customers,
Mhm.
metadata only, of course, are using the platform, so we can start to tie across customer bases and locally within organizations who else should be using data and insights, where else we can push that to. And so we can really drive that next step in adoption using AI as the engine and not just to drive these flashy front-end features.
Well, that sounds amazing. Since you allude knowledge graph, I'm curious to know more about it. So could you please elaborate?
So
Yes.
essentially, because we've always been a cloud server-based solution
Mm-hmm.
for customers that will allow us to gather the intel, we can understand things like how user profiles match to their usage patterns and to what they're doing as with an end result with the data. So we're able to take all of these patterns
Mm-hmm.
and how they're actually using the platform and how they're actually becoming successful with analytics. And we can create things like smart recommendations and what to do next based on those profiles. And because it's universally collected,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just within the organization, because that would take a lot of time to ramp and get that engine going.
Mm-hmm.
It can be universally used across all customers. And so that's something that's patent pending and is proprietary to Sisense that we built.
All right. And does it work according to the country? Like, suppose uh, you have to customize anything. Like, suppose Netflix, okay, they are suggesting different, movies or series. So does it act like according to the demographic, according to the
It
country?
absolutely has demographics, and of course, it also respects data privacy laws.
Hmm.
So there's that as well. And so that is demographics is absolutely a part of it.
Well, sounds good and good to know about it. Moving to the next question, like artificial intelligence, big data, and automation impacting today's innovation, and how has the role of leaders has changed over the years?
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to the big data
Hmm.
side, there's an impact on scale. We are starting to see more people using more data, and solutions need to scale fast. And so the vendors that will continue to be successful will be able to figure out how to scale with the needs of the business and the customer. When it comes to artificial intelligence, so I am a product leader
Hmm.
that strongly believes AI is not here to replace humans. It's here to make sure that humans are getting the right information they need in the context they need to then layer on their intuition and make the right decision. So from the perspective of AI, I think it is guiding people to augment their knowledge and make smarter decisions. But I do not think that AI is going to, quote unquote, replace the human.
That's great. Uh, and AI is surely augmenting a lot of interesting thing, and we will surely see a lot of innovation it will bring in the future. Connecting to that, please let me know your point of view on the future of AI and big data analytics industry moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've gone through different generations of
Mhm.
analytics. The first generation was centered around operational reporting. We've clearly moved beyond that, though some
Mhm.
customers still use that, and that's great. Then came the self-service generation where people are dragging and dropping, building dashboards, trying to make insights. And now we are at the next stage where we need to add more flexibility and agility to really, as I mentioned earlier, go
Mhm.
beyond the dashboard, break it apart, and infuse these analytics to people where they're spending their time. And I believe the companies that nail this from a cloud, from a scale, from a customization standpoint are the ones that will really capture and own this next generation of big data analytics. And really in the end, it's about seeing who can drive actionable outcomes. At the end of the day, that is the whole point of
Mhm.
analytics.
Mhm.
And that's the whole goal for customers that are implementing these solutions.
Great. So next question, it is one of the favorite question which I normally ask to my interviewer. So while taking an interview, I ask this question. So, what are the key learnings, while working with major organizations such as NASA, Amazon, and now with Sisense, which you'd like to share uh, for
Yeah, I would
other
love to. I
aspiring
mean,
leaders to learn?
I learned key learnings all around the way, some about myself, some about the
Hmm.
industry. So
Hmm.
NASA and Oracle taught me personally that I am meant to talk to people and not computers.
Hmm.
I was an okay engineer, but I've known
Hmm.
so many much better ones.
Hmm.
What Amazon taught me was the power of data
Hmm.
and how you can really drive operational efficiencies by looking at data first. And that's great because that's where I entered the analytics industry. And then analytics, I believe we're just at the beginning. I believe there's so much more. That's why you see new companies rising every day. I have learned through my time at Tableau, Alteryx, and now Sisense, the absolute power of data and all of the different things you can do and the different ways you can empower people. And that's what I think is most exciting. And that's why, unlike other people, this is my third role within this industry because I just believe it's so exciting. And I believe we're just at the beginning.